Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the JUKEBOX Time Machine. This week we throw on our shell suits and crank up the synths as we head back to the 4th to the 10th of May 1987, where glossy pop, heartfelt ballads and synth-heavy anthems collided in a chart packed with surprises. From Madonna and Five Star to Tom Jones and the Jesus and Mary chain, it was a week where every genre got a moment in the spring sun. So let's take a spin through the UK Top 10. This chart was published on Sunday, May the 3rd, 1987, and it ruled the airwaves all week. At number 10 we have Level 42 with To Be With You Again. Polished jazz funk with a soulful edge. Not their biggest hit, but a smooth and classy entry from a band in full stride. This song dipped into the top 10 for 1 week only. And at number 9 we have Kim Wilde and Junior with Another Step Closer to You. An upbeat duet with that 80s production sparkle. It managed to reach number 6 the next week and was in the top 10 for 4 weeks. Right, let's have a look at what was at the top of the UK box office. And at the top of the box office this week is Oliver Stone's Platoon, brutal and award-winning Vietnam drama. And at number 2 is Personal Services. Julie Walters stars in a Terry Jones-directed brothel comedy.
Julie Walters. Julie plays the part of Christine, but again, I can't tell you much about her character because of what she does in the film. Oh my God. No, don't say anything, Julie. This is a U-certificate trailer.
At number 3 is Jumpin' Jack Flash, Whoopi Goldberg in a chaotic Cold War tech caper. This was the most recently released film of the box office chart, having come out on the 1st of May, entering at number 2 in its opening weekend last week. At number 4 it's Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home. Whales, space and time-travelling Starfleet diplomatist.
That much is certain.
This is an extremely primitive and paranoid culture.
What does it mean, exact change?
Many of their customs will doubtless take us by surprise.
At number 5 it's tough guys Burt Lancaster and Kirk Douglas doing one last wild job.
They're not getting older. They're getting tougher.
And at number 6 Sylvester Stallone arm wrestles for fatherhood in Over the Top.
Nothing to lose. All I want to do is hurt him, cripple him, get him off the table.
All I care about is you. You're my boy, you understand?
At number 7 is Little Shop of Horrors, wacky musical with man-eating plants and big laughs.
Shop of Horrors. Where did you get such a weird plant? Thrill to the romance.
Will you marry me?
Witness the drama.
At number 8 is 84 Charing Cross Road. Literary pen pals span decades and oceans.
I hope madam doesn't mean over there what it means over here.
Number 9 is The Colour of Money. Newman and Cruz hustle Poole in a stylish sequel to The Hustler from 1961.
Love this.
I got half of me that says I got a hold of the best thing that I ever seen, and half of me that says it just ain't worth it.
At number 10 is The Fourth Protocol, Cold War espionage with Michael Caine and an early role from Pierce Brosnan.
GB's best deep cover agent is coming west.
It's not an unenjoyable film, it's just that, as adapted by Frederick Forsyth, who also co-produced, along with Mr. Caine, it all seems a little weary and predictable. The trouble with this kind of film is that characterization invariably takes third place to plot and action, so that while Michael Caine has some decent lines and business to grapple with, there simply isn't time for poor Mr. Brosnan to do a lot more than glower and go about looking shifty and suspicious. He must be sorrier than ever that he didn't quite land the James Bond role. On which note, let's move on to our regular look at the top 10 films in London.
And finally, the film at number 11 in this week's box office, it's Crocodile Dundee. Aussie charm, big knives, and an even bigger box office. At number 8, it's the Jesus and Mary chain with April Skies. The Scottish alt-rockers making an unlikely chart appearance this week. Moody and fuzzy, this song peaked here at number 8 but managed to hang out on the top 10 for another week and spent 5 weeks in the top 40. This probably would have been my hidden gem if it wasn't already in the top 10. And at number 7 we have Labby Seafray with Something Inside So Strong. This inspirational anti-apartheid anthem peaked at number 4 the next week for 2 weeks before quickly slipping out of the top 10 again.
Well, I discovered Juggling Janet in this dingy little bar. I said, let me be your agent, love. I'll make you a megastar. Well, I got contacts, didn't I? So I got her booked in a place with class. The governor seemed well pleased. And when I took the normal agent's fee, I was laughing all the way to the Leeds. Well, I got me overheads to consider, didn't I? See, I got an account called Liquid Gold. Now, I know that sounds quite funny, but it means the Leeds takes your proceeds and adds on extra money. I was quids in with the Leeds. But then she cries, your fee's too high. It's more than all the others. I said, who told you that, my dear? She said, oh, my little brothers. Nice boys. Gave me a lift to the Leeds. Well, you can get your wedge out instantly if you have an urgent yearning. And even if it's not there long, you know it's still been earning.
Liquid Gold now pays up to 7.75% for bigger savers, so laugh all the way to the Leeds.
Okay, let's have a look at what people were watching on telly in the spring of '87. Well, sitcom Brushstrokes was on episode 6 of its first series.
Tonight at 8:30 on BBC One.
On Film 87 this week, Barry Norman was exploring upcoming releases No Mercy, starring Richard Gere and Kim Basinger, and Angel Heart, starring Mickey Rourke and Robert De Niro. In April, a new series called Through the Keyhole started on ITV. And on this week's episode, on the 8th of May, guest panellists Willie Rushton, Eve Pollard and Chris Tarrant were looking at the homes of painter and journalist Molly Parkin and English singer Vince Hill, best known for his cover of Edelweiss from 1967.
This would appear to be the home of a fairly flamboyant person. Look at all these day-glow pink feathers and all this chrome glitter. It's definitely someone with a strong, perhaps even a violent personality.
I think this is Molly Parkins.
Correct. Very good. It is indeed Molly Parkin coming through the keyhole.
Come and sit. They got you. They got you. They worked it out.
I knew that Eve would get me.
Did you?
Yeah.
And finally, on Saturday the 9th of May, the 1987 Eurovision Song Contest was held in Brussels, Belgium, and was the 32nd edition of the competition. The UK's entry was Only the Light by Ricky, which ended in 13th place with just 47 points. The winner was Ireland's Johnny Logan with Hold Me Now. Okay, that's probably enough TV for now. Let's get back to the chart. At number 6, it's Living in a Box with Living in a Box. Yes, the band and the song have the same name. It's a catchy, sophisticated 87 synth pop song that was here at number 6 for its third week before stepping up to its peak position at number 5 the next week. At number 5 this week is 5 Star with The Slightest Touch. This was classic 5 Star, slick, energetic and very 80s. This track hit its highest position at number 4 last week before dropping appropriately here this week to number 5. Right, let's see what was happening in news and sport. On the 8th of May 1987, 8 members of the Provisional IRA attacked an RUC base in Loughgall, Northern Ireland, using a bomb-laden digger and gunfire. The British Army's SAS had prepared a covert ambush and killed all 8 IRA members during the assault. A civilian was also mistakenly killed, making this the IRA's deadliest single-day loss during the Troubles. There are disputes about what actually went on that day, but I'm not going to get into that controversy here. And over in sport, in football, on the 4th, Everton sealed the First Division League title, beating Liverpool to the top spot. Merseyside was half ecstatic and half depressed.
That League Championship trophy, and I'm delighted it's been brought out of the vaults at St Anne's and we're going to be presented with it today.
Smashing. Now look, when you won the title at Carrow Road on Monday with that Pat Van Den Houw goal, was there a feeling at the end of relief as well as exultation, because you knew then that Liverpool couldn't catch you as they did last year?
Yeah, I think that if you looked at a disappointment, I mean, no players have had to suffer the disappointment that our players did last year. We were travelling back on the same plane as Liverpool from the final. We were touring the city with Liverpool. I mean, those players had to...
That shouldn't happen to anybody, should it, really?
It shouldn't, really. And I think it was an added spur, really, when we started the season. Right from day one in pre-season, you know, it was a case we can't let that happen again.
Okay, back to the chart again. At number 4, we have Tom Jones, A Boy From Nowhere. From the concept album Matador that was turned into a West End musical in '91, all drama and orchestration, Tom was making his comeback with this hit, which reached number 2 a couple of weeks later, where it was held off by our number 1 song from this week.
It seems to go well.
And this week's number 3 is Madonna with La Isla Bonita. Spanish guitars, tropical vibes, and Madonna in full storytelling mode. This was her final single from the True Blue era and one of my favourites of hers. Down this week from its 2-week run at number 1, and it stayed in the top 10 for 7 weeks. Right, onto our games, toys and tech section. Well, the ZX Spectrum 128K and Commodore 64 ruled the bedroom gaming scene. Also, the Atari ST model we all know and love had come out in late '86 and become a way for professional and home music producers to easily attach synths and drum machines using the computer's MIDI system, as demonstrated here on Tomorrow's World.
Voices. Now, of course, a human being can't play all 8 sounds at once, not from a single keyboard, but a machine can by using MIDI. That's the standard interface system which allows various musical instruments to communicate with each other. This synth here has a MIDI interface, and so too does the Atari ST computer. So you can send control information from the Atari to the synth. And that feature has attracted some pretty impressive software from Steinberg Research. It turns the ST into music's equivalent of a word processor, what you might call a music processor.
And finally, Sega's Outrun was the big game in the arcades. Having come out in September of '86, it became the biggest arcade game of 1987. Outrun wowed players with its vibrant graphics, branching routes and iconic soundtrack. Designed by Yu Suzuki, it set a new standard for racing games with its deluxe sit-down cabinet and a sense of speed and freedom that felt revolutionary at the time.
Sarah is lazy. Tom likes speed. Dawn is crazy. Sid's a weed. But they're all alike when it comes to munching, cause all our bunch love Dairy Crunchy. All our bunch love Dairy Crunchy. Nestle's chocolate smooth and nice, covering crispy, crunchy rice. A chunky bite, so crispy light. A snack that packs a crunch so right. Whatever you bunch, we've got a hunch. Y'all go a bunch. Y'all go a bunch of Nestle's Dairy Crunch.
Okay, we're coming to the end of our UK Top 10 singles now, and at number 2 we have Judy Boucher with Can't Be With You Tonight. Climbing up to second place, a rare quiet track in a loud chart. This is a song that, despite me being alive and regularly listening to the chart, and it being in the top 10 for as long as Madonna and spending 4 weeks at number 2, I don't recognise this song at all. And finally, the song at our number 1 position this week is Starship with Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now. From the cheesy classic rom-com Mannequin, this was soft rock at its most earnest and most glorious. Big hair, big chorus, big sales. It hung on for 4 weeks at number 1, 9 weeks in the top 10 and 16 weeks in the top 40. Meanwhile, over in the States, Cutting Crew with I Just Died in Your Arms Tonight was topping the Billboard Hot 100. It's another slice of dramatic and heartfelt 80s-ness. Okay, and we're finally at our last segment of the video. It's my forgotten gem of the week. Unlike previous weeks where there hasn't been much in particular that I felt like recommending, this week there was almost too much good stuff. So I'm gonna cheat a little bit and mention 2 songs that didn't make our top 10 this week, beginning with the SYNTHS with Sheila Take a Bow. This song entered the chart in late April but didn't stick around too long. Snappy, sneering and quintessentially SYNTHS make this one of the band's brighter, more playful singles. Morrissey's lyrics typically sneer at conformity with a wink and a snarl. And I would be remiss not to mention that legendary indie band The Fall entered the chart at number 43 this week with their cover of There's a Ghost in My House by R. Dean Taylor from 1967. This is notable because the song reached number 30 a week later, giving Marky Smith's band its highest ever UK chart entry. Although he did appear on Top of the Pops as a guest on Inspire.
Well, it's not every day I treat myself to the best.
Oh, Sarah, I wouldn't say that.
Well, there are exceptions. Nescafe is simply unique. Precisely.
True, only Nescafe has that special blend and roast. For that richer, smoother taste.
There's no mistaking quality.
Yep, that Nescafe taste is in a class of its own.
Nescafe, coffee at its best.